And this is Trent and Jason from the Thunder Underground podcast, here with our Rocklahoma 2018 lineup reaction.
That's right.
You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's dig in. The lineup was released today. It was delayed a couple days, because somebody had to kick a photographer in the head.
You really think that's what it is?
I don't know. I figure we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I really think that might, and I really kind of thought that might be it, because kind of I don't know that all these are bona fide headliners. So I don't know. So,
but on the couple they were on, they were like
Stone Age wouldn't be a headliner though. That's a good.
They were usually like the second band down, which is high enough to.
That's right.
To stall, I guess.
I get. Yeah, I got mixed up on that one. My apologies, but really the thing that you need to remember is if you're ever working the Queens of the Stone Age show in the photo pit, wear a helmet.
Hey,
because some dickhead is gonna smash you in the face.
It's not as bad as people are making it sound. She sat there and took pictures of the rest of the show before she left, so she wasn't hurt that bad.
Wow. Okay.
Saying that
devil's advocate.
I'm just saying, I've taken pictures at shows and they tell you exactly what to do. You got 3 songs and get the fuck out of there. And if you want to bend the rules to your favor, then.
So was that the thing? Was she there after her 3 songs?
That's what I had read. I thought that she was there like after the fact.
Oh, well, that definitely deserves a kick in the head, doesn't it?
No.
Okay.
He didn't kick her in the head. He kicked the camera.
Oh my God.
Get your facts straight, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. The same fucking thing. You're jacking off spiders here.
I know.
He kicked the camera. It smashed her in the face. It probably hurt more. But
that's true.
Either way, he's a dick. So
yeah,
whatever.
No defense. He's a dick. I still like his music, but it doesn't. I'm not gonna cry over the fact that they're not in this lineup. Even though
I'm not.
I'd like to see them someday. They're way better than a couple of the headliners here. But
I think so.
Regardless, that's neither here nor there.
I'm sorry that I brought that up right out of the gate. I apologize. Maybe I should have waited. I don't know.
Hey, it makes this more interesting.
Yeah, I was just, that's what I was feeling.
Okay, here, let's do a little step back. If this is your first time hearing us, if you're just clicking on this because you're going to Rocklahoma, we've got a podcast. Like we said, Thunder Underground. We've got 150 plus episodes now. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Music, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found.
That's right.
And in here on YouTube, we do stuff like this on occasion when reaction to a lineup or reviews or concert reviews.
A big album that came out,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it with Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, reviews of concerts, that kind of stuff. So here we are for Rocklahoma, and the reason we're doing this and not say Rock on the Range or Carolina Rebellion is because we live in Oklahoma. We live about 45 minutes from where Rocklahoma takes place.
Yes.
And this is the 12th edition, and we've been fortunate enough to beat all previous 11 of them.
That's right.
And we'll be at the 12th. So, with all that being said, when you first saw the lineup, what was your initial reaction? Like, all right, this is cool. Or you like, I'm a little bummed out, but I'll make do. Or what was your initial thought?
Yeah, the first, like when I very first clicked on the poster, for some reason the first band I saw was Ghost, and that was cool because I thought, well, they're not at any of the other ones. I don't think.
Right.
And then, I just kind of zoomed out and looked at the other bands, and it's pretty formidable. It really is. I mean, is it suited, expressly for me? No, not a chance in hell. But that doesn't matter. When you think about the scope of rock and, the span of rock fans and what they all love, this is a great thought out bill. And, it's, it'll pack the place like it always does. And that's what matters, really.
Right. Well, when I first saw it, my initial reaction was joy, I guess.
Yeah.
Not because it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, but because I expected the worst.
I get that. I kind of feel I can echo that too. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Because, this is, of all these AG, Danny Wimmer festivals, this is, I think, the last one. Maybe there's one more that needs to be announced. But having seen, like, Rock on the Range is the big one attendance-wise, and Carolina Rebellion, but Rock on the Range, especially in Northern Invasion, those are two of the worst lineups for my taste that I've ever seen on any of these festivals.
I can't even...
There's bands I like on there, but I'm saying overall.
Yeah.
Last year's Rock on the Range I thought was horrible overall as well.
Yeah.
You had Metallica and then 3 other bands I might have liked, and then that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way I would have traveled for that when you could see Metallica this year somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So, seeing those lineups, the Rockville lineup was really good. There was a couple that were okay, and those that were really bad, I was kind of worried. Mm-hmm. But the thing you always got to remember is that Rocklahoma is unique in the fact that they always bring those 4 or 5 of the 80s bands, and then they always have at least one headliner that is on none of the other festivals.
Yeah.
And like you said, besides Ghost, there's several bigger names here that aren't on these other festivals, so they did a good job of separating themselves, and that's what you want to do, because if you've got 12 festivals that are the same, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
If you do it this, you might get someone that's going to Carolina Rebellion and also says, well, I'll drive to Oklahoma and go to that, because it's a lot different than my bill.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I kind of didn't think about that.
But when you first look, obviously the first thing you really look at is the 3 headliners. Mm-hmm. And throughout my time, especially since Rocklahoma changed, being from the first 3 years were a glam festival.
Yeah.
And then they changed to what they are now.
Uh-huh.
I think last year was the only year that I might have liked all 3 headliners.
Okay.
And of course, one of them in Soundgarden ended up not being there, but Live replaced them, and I liked them.
Yeah, we didn't get to see that anyways.
Right.
I wanted to see them. I never have seen them live.
Right.
But Def Leppard was great.
Yeah.
And then, I know
you're not a fan of Offspring, but I was going in.
And I begrudgingly went, and I was surprised. I had a good time. But anyways, this year,
The point is, like, normally there's always, like, there's one band I like, maybe 2, but there's always 1 or 2 I don't like.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is what we're doing with this year.
Yeah.
Which, this is going to alienate a lot of people that might be listening right now. Mm-hmm. But Poison is the only band of these 3 bands that I give 2 shits about.
I agree totally. And that's not because I'm solely a hair metal guy or whatever. Right. It's just...
It's a solely I like good music guy. No. Before we get into that, let me just say that's what I like. But I think these 3 headliners is good.
Oh, definitely.
It's a good deal because...
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Kind of like the 3 we just mentioned from last year. And most years, they're good at getting 3 headliners.
Yeah.
That are from 3 different genres.
Yeah.
And, of course, Godsmack is a big band, has a big fan base. And Perfect Circle is a band that doesn't play that often.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like. But I still think when you see that, it's like a Perfect Circle to a lot of people that are diehard music fans like us. That might be a cool thing. But then when you take your average rock fan, to me, that's kind of a weird band to be right there, with Tool not being there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they only had a couple radio hits. And
but Maynard's involved, so people go shit nuts.
Right.
That's the thing. And then,
but I'm just saying to your average rock fan.
I know.
I mean, if it was Tool, that'd be a different story because I wouldn't care about that either personally. But your average rock fan would still be clamoring for it.
Yeah. At first I thought, is a Perfect Circle a headliner? I mean, are they that status? But then, I had to step, kind of like you, I got to step out of what I like, I got to step out of that box and look at it in a different light, because they were just the BOK Center not too long ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
A year or 2 ago, maybe.
So they are, definitely. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, think of bands that have headlined Rocklahoma before, like Stained or Tesla or Chickenfoot.
Yeah, true.
That are like,
that's a great point.
That play theaters, and of course Perfect Circle plays theaters, and now I guess they're playing arenas even, because I think they benefited from not playing for so long, and that bumps your status up as well.
Yeah.
The Twisted Sister effect, basically.
Yeah, true.
You go away for a long time, you come back, you're bigger than you ever were before.
And you know, and I got to plug this in just because we're talking about it. And, you know, a Perfect Circle, Tool. You know, to me, those are great bands. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But those were bands that at one point in time I was really into. But for whatever reason, I kind of got out of that kind of stuff. And I don't really concentrate on it that much in the last 15 years or so. Or 10 years or whatever. But at the same time, this will be a great headliner. And, you know, Godsmack's kind of the same way, you know. I never was totally into them, though.
But the only thing I don't like about Godsmack right there is that they were a headliner 2 years ago. And I think it doesn't bother me when bands come back that quick, but that's when they're like, you know, on the supporting level.
Yes.
Because that happens all the time with Rocklahoma. Yeah. Every other year you repeat some bands, but the headliners, I think it'd be better to wait at least 3 years.
See, I was going to ask you the last time they were they a headliner? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they've been. This is the
second from.
No, this is the third time they've been there and have been a headliner each time.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, people love them, so it's not gonna affect anything if people going, oh, that's. I mean, some people might. I'm sure it's not gonna watch them.
No, I'll be at the campsite getting fuck hammered.
They've got a great drummer, but you know that's about where it ends for me.
Well, you know. I have seen Godsmack enough in my life where I was forced to see him to know that I don't need to see him. They don't suck. They're just not my thing. But like you said, Shannon Larkin's an amazing drummer.
It's just generic radio metal.
It is. It's just, it's that bro metal stuff that just drives me up the fucking wall. But for anyone that, you know, wander on over there if you haven't ever seen the drum duel that Sully Erna and Shannon Larkin do, because it's insane. I will give them that. That's badass. You know, I've seen that twice. Once because they opened for Metallica, and the other time because I was drugged there by my stupid fucking ex. But anyways, that's the shining moment in Godsmack. Other than that, we can move along.
Right. Well, we mentioned we're both happy with Poison.
Yes.
And, of course, you know, our age group, we're both 40, 41, so that's kind of where we got our start in music.
That's right.
Late 80s was the thrash metal and the glam metal.
And we loved that, and I'll never turn my back on it.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
And Poison is one of those bands that even if you're not really into it, unless you got some weird hatred for them, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's like going to see Def Leppard or something. You know every damn song.
Yeah, you're going to know it.
You're going to know 90% of them.
Every single song, even if you're 20, you're going to know some songs.
Right.
I mean, because it's just that ingrained in our pop culture. And they put on a fun show. Yeah. So, you know, there you go.
I think this is their third time as well.
Okay.
They were there 2011, because I remember that's the year I always mention as that's the worst lineup ever.
Was it?
That's the year that was like Poison, Motley Crue, Whitesnake, and someone else, but like the supporting level.
Everything else sucked?
Yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff in there, but overall it was just an overall horrible lineup.
Yeah.
And of course, Motley Crue's horrible live.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of.
Yeah, no shit.
If you want to see a shit
fucking
show,
depressing. Yeah, if you want to see, see every Motley Crue song done not in its entirety, then you're in luck.
Because Vince Neil's at Rocklahoma.
Yep, exactly.
But I say a shit show, it's just like a Motley Crue show, whereas the band's going to sound great.
Yeah.
But the vocalist isn't, because obviously the vocalist is the same one, because it's Vince Neil's solo. And his solo band is the guys from Slaughter. Mm-hmm. And we've mentioned this before, that Slaughter's drummer, Zoltan Chaney, is a freaking madman.
Yep.
You know, maybe he's better than Tommy Lee.
Yeah, well, definitely.
I mean, technically,
but you got to go to at least see this guy play.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
It's a show.
It's like, he's a show unto himself. You've never seen anything like it, I guarantee you. Well, we kind of skipped around there, didn't we?
Yeah, and Jeff Blando's badass. But that's jumping. I mean, he's on the second level of bands that will be the second or third down here. But the second grouping of bands is Cheap Trick, Ghost, the Cult and Hellstorm.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's strong all the way across. Hellstorm is one of those bands I loved when they first came out, and then I just kind of got tired of it after a while. But they're still a band that if you haven't seen them live, you need to.
Yeah.
Because they're a really strong live band.
They are.
She's got an amazing voice.
Yes.
As well. Their drummer is a sight to see as well. He puts on a show.
Yeah. They're one of those bands where I don't listen to very often, but when I do, I kind of binge on them for like a day or two.
Oh, yeah.
You know, then I might not pick it up for another 7 months or something.
Right.
But, I mean, they're great. You know, RJ Hale is insane. You know, Lizzie Hale's got an amazing voice, and she's super hot. So, anyways, I mean, it's a great show.
Yeah. And the Cult was on the lineup last year, and they're one of the bands that got canceled due to the storm.
So I'm glad they're back.
So, yeah, it's really cool because a lot of times when bands get canceled at festivals like this, you don't see them back the next year because of scheduling and what the band has going on. But there's actually at least 3 bands I know that were on the schedule last year that didn't make it back. I mean, that didn't get to play and they've made it back. And the Cult is one of those bands that I've seen, I don't know the number. We talked about this back when we saw them earlier in the year. Or no, it was that last year.
At the Brady,
I've seen them 10 to 12 times, and it never gets old. You know, one of the most underrated guitarists in rock and roll, Billy Duffy, Ian Astbury's the consummate fucking hard rock frontman. You know, he's like one of my favorites. This is just one of those bands that I could see, you know, once a week and be completely happy for the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
If you could get them to be a house band somewhere.
Yeah, like you knew what you were doing every Friday night.
Why couldn't we get the Holy Barbarians?
Oh, Jesus. Moving right along.
Okay. Ghost, you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
This is another band that I was really glad to see on here because for 2 reasons. Because I love them, and a lot of people don't love them. So I knew that would piss off some people, so that always makes me happy.
You know, it's funny you say that. I was more happier that they're going to piss a lot of people there off more than that I'm going to love them.
Right.
There's going to be so many people that hate them, and I love that. That makes me like so happy and proud.
Right.
So, and people hate them for a million reasons. That, you know, oh, they're not heavy, or, oh, they're too satanic, or, oh, it's a gimmick. Well, all that makes me fucking happy that they're hated because of that, because that's stupid fucking reasons to hate a band.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, it's going to be good.
But yeah, if you've heard them or you've seen videos and you haven't seen them live and you like their music, you're going to enjoy it. But I still say, even if you're on the fence about their music, check them out live just to see what you think, because it's one of those theatrical shows. And
yes.
Our buddy Jason Carroll didn't really care for the music and then saw them when they opened for Iron Maiden and said that kind of made him a fan. So it's possible.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. Well, Cheap Trick is also on this second level here of bands.
Holy shit.
And for me, this was the instant when I first saw the lineup, that was my instant highlight.
Yeah.
Then after I dug through, you know, down there at the bottom, we'll get to that in a minute. But like, Cheap Trick played Rocklahoma once before. I think it was 2013. And to me, I can't remember a band that played that year, but if they weren't the highlight, they were like in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away. I hadn't seen them since we saw them open for Stone Temple Pilots back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Was the only other time I'd seen them. And it's a band that, as a kid, I just knew a few of those hit songs. And then when we saw them open for Stone Temple Pilots, it really pushed me to that level of really liking them. And so I kind of later on after that started digging in. And as I got older, even more and more. And now I just love them. The last 2 albums that they've put out this year and last year are just as stellar as anything they've ever done.
Yeah. I saw them at Cain's in about 2002, 2003.
Oh, shit.
With Wayne Kramer opening. Did you go to that one?
Fuck, I guess not.
I went to that, and it was when they opened their set with an acoustic, like 4 or 5 song acoustic set.
Wow.
And usually you think, well, that's going to suck. And it was fucking amazing. But yeah, I mean, Cheap Trick is going to be, they're going to be hard to beat. And, you know that, when you're that age and you can still bring it, you know, that's pretty special. Cause what was it, at Rocklahoma in 2013, you know, you've got Korn on the side of the stage watching Cheap Trick.
Right.
I mean, what's that fucking tell you?
And well, Cheap Trick's one of those bands that, like you mentioned, Korn or whoever else, they span the gamut of people that like them or people that they influenced. You know, because you think of they might have influenced a lot of pop and punk bands or whatever, but they obviously, influenced heavy bands because you hear guys like Anthrax and stuff talk about how much they like
cover their songs.
And even just when you see them live, if someone likes really heavy music or they like radio rock, people know at least several of those Cheap Trick songs and dig it,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely on my high list of the ones I'm most excited about. But this third line of bands is a good mix of genres as well. We already mentioned Vince Neil, who was arguably one of the worst live singers you ever see live.
Oh, definitely.
And let me, preface, go back for anybody that's never listened to us. I bag on Vince Neil at least once every 3 episodes.
Why not?
But I also like to point out that I am a huge fan of Motley Crue my whole life.
Yes.
And I've liked everything the band ever did. I like Vince Neil's solo albums. But live, it's just, I can't handle it. It's just so bad. It's just insane how bad this guy is, and it just never put any effort into, and it's not because he can't. It's not like people are like, oh, he's fat and this and that. It's like, that's not it.
Yeah,
even when he wasn't fat, he wasn't good, He was good back in the 80s, and there was just some point where it changed, And anyway, that's my background on that.
I mean, you go see Vince Neil, you're gonna be singing most of the set. He's gonna hold the microphone out to you,
right?
Or he's gonna sing like every other song, every other word, or every 2 other words. It's like, dude, fucking go home,
right?
There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If fucking Meatloaf can be out there at 70 and still sounding amazing, there's no fucking excuse. Sorry.
Yeah, Mick Jagger still sounds good live.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, you said Meatloaf because he's heavy, I guess.
I guess so. Like it's just like, I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Remember the fucker we saw at the Journey tribute band?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he looked like a fucking biscuit eating Homer Simpson, power plant guy. But if you turned around and looked at the wall, you'd swear to fuck that was Steve Perry singing.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's no excuse, Vince. Fucking handle your shit, or just, stay in Las Vegas and drink and gamble. I don't know. Whatever.
Punch a woman in an elevator.
Oh, Jesus.
Or, at
you think he's hanging out with Nicolas Cage?
I don't know.
He might be.
He's probably not ever going to be on this podcast now. Way to go.
You're the one. You said the most malicious shit.
Okay.
Don't come at me,
all right,
fucker.
Well, let's talk about Stone Temple Pilots.
Let's do, because I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, this is one of those unique ones where it's like I always like Stone Temple Pilots, but they're one of those bands I kind of at points lost interest in.
Yeah,
I'd come back around, lose interest, come back around.
Yeah, definitely.
And we heard the stuff they did with Chester; it sounded good. So now they've got this new guy, and I haven't listened to any of the live stuff. All I heard was the new song. Mm-hmm. And I think it's good.
Yes.
It doesn't for me or anything, but it's good enough that I'm like, well, I'll go listen to this. He obviously sounds like Weiland.
Yes, he does.
So I assume it's going to sound like that live, so it'll be cool.
I listened to their concert they put on Sirius, and it reminded me of how sometimes on Van Halen 3, Gary Sharon sounded like Sammy Hagar.
All right.
I mean, this guy was just super Weiland, but at the same time, it wasn't, it didn't seem like he was trying to, I don't know. I mean, I swear to God, I'm not bagging on him at all, because it was great. It was really good.
Is it like William Duvall, where it kind of sounds like him, but
yeah, kind of
still doesn't exactly?
But there's definitely some Weiland in there. There's probably, a good 60-70% Weiland in there. But, the main thing was he did those songs justice. Those songs were great. They played Down.
Oh, right.
I mean, fuck, it was badass, dude. It was great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because I love that song. That number 4 is an underrated album.
Oh, definitely.
It was way better than Tiny Music in my
opinion.
opinion.
Oh, no shit. What was the one about painting flowers on my grave? What was that song called?
I Got You.
Oh, man.
Or no, was it Sour Girl?
No, I Got You.
Yeah.
That was such a great fucking song, man.
Yeah.
I might go listen to it after this.
Yeah. Clutch is next on the lineup.
Oh, hell yeah.
And this is another highlight.
Yeah, definitely high. This is right at, this is where we thrive. Shit like this.
Yeah.
You know?
This is only the second time they've been there, right?
Yes.
They played the side stage once.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if they'll be headlining a side stage or they'll be on the main stage.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They're
Doesn't
Clutch.
matter, yeah.
They're going to kick ass. They're one of those bands that you go see live and it just moves me. It's, dorky as that sounds.
Yeah.
Every time I see them or every time I listen to them, I like them just a little bit more. And
That's right.
They're a band that doesn't do wrong. #, all killer, no filler, their whole career.
The whole, I mean, and there's, it's just 4 regular dudes going out there and just, and just pounding it. I mean, It really is. There's no ego. There's no pomp. There's no, show to it. They just go out there and, they bring it. And, I mean,
same 4 guys.
Yeah. And
same 4 original guys.
If you could ask, if you were to ask me, how do you describe their sound? I'd be like, it's Clutch.
Right.
I mean, it's just so great.
I think it was Joe Altier, who, if you don't know, you need to follow him.
Oh, definitely.
He used to be the singer for Brand New Sin. He's got Just Joe. I think at one point I saw him say that if someone ever asked him, what should I listen to if I want to get into rock and roll or hard rock?
Yeah.
He's like, just Clutch.
Yeah, just go listen to Clutch.
Yeah.
That's a good fucking answer.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, too.
Okay. The 4th line on Rocklahoma's lineup.
We can just skip the whole goddamn thing.
I just want to say, is arguably the worst line I've ever seen on a lineup in my life.
Yeah. Like,
literally. All 4 of these bands make me want to stab myself in the ear with a rusty, steak knife.
So, next.
Okay. I mean, I guess we need to have, kitty metal and rap, on the bill, I guess. I don't know. It makes sense to have kitty metal, for bringing the kids. But anyway, the 5th line redeems it.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean...
Except for the last part, but whatever.
I'm not going to... Let me talk about this real quick. I've never really listened to Yellow Wolf in my life, but I've always seen people that like rock and metal talk decent about him.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Machine Gun Kelly, and like I said, it makes me want to stab myself in the ear.
Oh, totally.
Yellow Wolf, I'm willing to check out before we go, or just, the stuff I've heard, and just see, because I know you don't care anything about anything that has to do with rap, but I'm willing to check it out if it's like, if it's a Cypress Hill type thing where it's infused with some rock, maybe, because I used to hate Cypress Hill personally, and then I saw them at Riot Fest for a little bit, and it changed my mind, because they were actually good live.
Yeah.
So this could be the same way. Who knows? We'll find out. But the other 4 bands, or 3.5 bands, because Pop Evil, I'm getting kind of tired of. But I like them. I like their music. But they're here literally, this is the 12th Rocklahoma, and they've played 13 times. So it doesn't bother me whether they're here or not. But the other 3 here are all top level in my world of what I love.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. One of my favorite bands growing up.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually, Cinderella. No, they never played. Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, because they were supposed to play way back when it was a glam thing, and then it got canceled. And then they played, once it changed, they were there before ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And then he played again a few years ago, solo.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, his solo shows are great. He plays a few of his songs from his solo album, and of course, a bunch of Cinderella stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best front man in fucking rock and roll.
Yeah.
Then we've got Trivium, who, we've talked about the new album's killer. They're a killer live band. I mean, what more can you say about that?
Yeah, that's going to be... they slayed the last time they were at Rocklahoma. They were great here at the Vanguard a couple of years ago. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah. Last time they were at Rocklahoma, they played, was it Master of Puppets?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Right. And then we've got Seven Dust.
And and Trivium's new album's really good, by the way, too.
Yeah, the Sin and the Sentence.
Yes.
Check that out.
But yeah, Seven Dust. I mean, come on.
They played 2 years ago, and we talked about on that review episode of the podcast that they were both of ours probably top 3 of that lineup.
Definitely. I think kind of sucks that they're so far down on the list, but whatever.
I mean, that's been the curse of Seven Dust throughout their career. It's like they've always been at that level where they're not real small, but they're not real big either.
Yeah.
And they've never cracked to that headliner, you know, right below headliner level.
Yeah.
Which they should, because, you know, kind of like we said about Clutch, you know, or whoever live and on album, this has been a consistent band throughout their entire career.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, people go fuck nuts about Breaking Benjamin or Theory of a Dead Man, but, you know, Seven Dust or Blackstone Cherry can't get any love. What the fuck is that?
Hey.
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
People like, hey, if you're one of those people that are mad that I talk shit about Vince Neil, you should check out Theory of a Dead Man. You'll really like them live. But that's neither here nor there because they're not on the lineup. But Seven Dust, extremely looking forward to, just as much as
no kidding,
just as much as Tom Kiefer.
Yeah.
The next line down has 3 more kick-ass bands. Red Sun Rising, I've heard them before. They're from the 1 or 2 songs I heard on Sirius was kind of cool. I think they're one of the bands that got canceled last year during the storm.
Okay.
So they're back. I can't really comment on them. But the other 3 here, Diamond Head is another band that they got canceled. We were both really excited about that.
And you know what's crazy is I thought, well, that's fucking it.
Yeah. We even said that.
Yeah, we'll never see them ever again in our fucking lives.
Right.
Because they're such a niche thing. They're like a niche thing.
And they don't, as far as I know, don't play a lot.
Exactly. They don't play a lot. And
they were last year. And
they definitely don't fucking play America a lot. So I was like, well, we're fucked on that one. You know, and as a gigantic, rabid Metallica fan, I would like to see the band that really influenced, or the guy, because I think the one guy is the only guy left.
Yeah.
I think. But I would still like to see that, you know? And so, to see Diamond Head, this is going to be badass. Hopefully, you know, the weather holds out for Diamond Head.
Right. Yeah, so that'd be really cool to see. If, for those of you that don't know, they're the band that they originally played Am I Evil?
Yes.
Then Metallica, of course, made famous.
That's right.
And Metallica covered another one of their songs, right?
Oh, yeah, they've done It's Electric.
Oh, that's right. That was on Garage Days Revisited. Or Garage Inc., I mean.
Fucking, it seems like they did something fucking else, too. Helpless.
Oh, that was Diamond Head?
I think that was a Diamond Head, yeah. Yep.
Well, we've also got Candlebox.
There you go. Who
is another band that Kevin Martin sounds as great now as he did 25 years ago.
No, maybe.
They played Rocklahoma a few years ago.
Yes, cool. They did, yeah.
I've seen them. We saw them, or were you with me when I saw them at that casino a few years ago?
Yeah, with Soul Asylum,
That's right, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. So Candlebox is a full of radio hits, and they sound great live. Don't want to miss them. And then Andrew WK.
Fucking shit. He better play that pizza guitar, or I'm fucking leaving the whole festival.
I'm pretty sure he will.
Yes.
If Andrew WK was on 2 or 3 of the other lineups that came out. Yeah. So I was really hoping to be here. So it wasn't a surprise to me that he was. And also he leaked it on Monday.
Yes.
He was the only band that ended up
much.
Leaking whenever they stalled the lineup, and he still leaked it, and then it got erased off all his stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it wasn't a surprise that he's here. But if he hadn't, been on the other festivals, I'd been really shocked because he had never been on any of these festivals throughout the years, and it's always kind of surprised me. He's always on Riot Fest like every year.
Yes, no shit.
And fortunately got to see him there. I saw him in Dallas a couple years ago, and it's one of those guys that I've wanted to see for years and years. Finally got the chance to see him a couple times in the last 2 or 3 years, and it's just a freaking, like his whole theme is partying, and that's what it is when you see him live.
Yep.
It's like, when you think of seeing like some 80s band or something, it's a good time. It's like that, but with, a little bit more amped up
but
music.
Like super fucking heavier.
Yeah. And it's just a great fucking time. So I'm really happy about that. I'm wondering if I assume he'll be on the side stage, so that'd be cool too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We'll party hard.
Yeah. We've also got Lynch Mob.
Nice.
Who I'm really excited about.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big fan of them.
We've seen them twice in the past couple years.
That's right.
And, I really, George Lynch is a fucking amazing guitar player. But, you know, the rest of the band is great now. They got Sean McNabb and Jimmy Danda, and, I mean, it's just, you know, and Oni Logan, of course.
Yeah.
It's just, they put on such a great fucking show.
Oni Logan's one of those underrated hard rock type guys to me.
Yeah.
He's just got that bluesy, soulful, heavy voice that, you know, it's hard to match, in my opinion. And then, like you said, George Lynch, he's a guy that everybody needs to see at some point because he's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, and it's like, even when he's just doing the riffs and the rhythm, it's like, it's not just power chords, it's different shit, and it makes you think, you know, like, wow, you know, this isn't just, you know, now you know why this guy's so revered, you know. And then fucking Sean McNabb, who knew that guy was a fucking, that guy is a fucking monster.
Right.
Doing this bass solos and all that kind of shit, that's insane.
Formerly of Great White.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Formerly of, what you call it, that show?
Sons of Anarchy.
There you go. Well, what else do we got? The next 3 bands on that line, nothing against them. I like some Shaman's Harvest. The other 2 I don't really care about.
Next line.
The next line, the first band is, this is another one of those, what's the word, divisive type bands. Yeah. And I fall squarely on the, I don't want to see this side. Well, I do want to see it, but I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
How about that?
There you go.
Butcher Babies, you know, they're great. The 2 of them are great to look at, but they're not great to listen to.
No.
Unless you're listening to them talking a podcast. They're pretty interesting.
And see, that's the thing is like...
So no knock on that. If you like them, that's great.
Yeah, they've both been on the Josta show, and you listen to them, you're like, oh man, that was a great listen, and I feel bad for not liking them, but sorry, I don't know.
Right. Well, Powerman 5000 for me is when I first look at this lineup. Every year when the lineup comes out, there's always at least one. There's usually just like one band that really surprises me.
Yeah.
Last year was Diamond Head. Trying to think other years, maybe can't think off the top of my head, but there's always like one band that like wasn't on the other festivals that I really like that shocks me they're there, and that's Powerman 5000.
Yeah.
This year. This is a band that most people know like 2 songs. They haven't listened to them in 15 years.
Yeah, no shit.
But I'm one of those guys that have stuck with them.
You listen to all their shit, yeah.
Every album that comes out.
That's awesome.
Love it. And they're one of those bands kind of like, I don't know, The Cult or Faith No More, where every album has a little bit of different feel to it.
Yeah.
They had an album just come out a couple months ago. It's really good. So I'm really happy that they're there because I haven't seen them in quite a long time. You know, I know you dug them back in the day, but I don't know if you care now.
I think their first record was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then, like, kind of after
kind
that...
of funk metal.
Yeah, everything after that, I just kind of was like, I don't know, you know?
Right.
But whatever.
And then Soil is another one that's kind of surprising because I don't think they were on any of the other AG lineups.
No. And
they're another band that kind of like that I loved, and I've loved them throughout their career. We've actually had Tim and Ryan, the singer and the guitarist, on this podcast.
Yes, we have.
You know, it's been a couple years ago now.
Super great guys to talk to, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're kick-ass live band, heavy stuff. If you like Seven Dust or something like that, you're going to dig it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Seven Dust, we didn't mention John Connolly was on our podcast.
Yes, he sure was.
So go look that one up as well. Now we're, you know, as we get down, we got Wayland, which is another cool band.
Yeah.
That I don't think I'd never seen them live. They were supposed to be there last year, the year before, and they ended up personally canceling. And then they've been around here a couple times. I just keep missing them. But I like everything I've heard from them.
Yeah, everything I've heard. And Nigel Dupree,
that's right.
Jesse James Dupree's son, now plays drums for him.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them. And Asuka is also on the lineup.
They were badass.
That's just phenomenon. If you like the heavy stuff from the 80s, like the heavy stuff,
yes,
you're gonna dig some Asuka. How do you want to pronounce it? Sorry.
And then but the guitar player kind of had he kind of had a classic kind of look and feel, kind of a Ritchie Blackmore Fender Strat kind of thing, but it was still kind of like metal. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these, the rest of the lineup is bands that are on the retrospect stage and the Axis stage, and Axis still has quite a few bands to announce.
Yep.
So I'll talk about all that later, but just kind of skimming through it. Black Torah, I'm excited about.
Yeah.
They've been at Rocklahoma quite a few times, and they're just phenomenal hard rock band, in my opinion.
Definitely.
That, I wish that they would get on a tour with something that, would kind of put these guys to the next level. We've got Wild Plains. They're a band I saw last year at Rocklahoma.
Yeah.
That was really, I don't even remember how to describe it because I haven't even really listened to them much since then, but I saw them live and it was really cool. It was kind of more like pop rock.
Yeah.
But it was cool, so skimming through here, obviously the first one that jumped out, to us, I guess, would be Down for Five.
Oh, yeah. Making their triumphant return.
Yeah, it's been a while. They've played a couple other times. They played the main stage. They played Camp Jaeger. Now they're playing the retrospect.
That's right. That's right.
The D&B processing stage now. I should rephrase all that. But so really glad to see Down for Five there. Scott and Jana were just on the podcast like 2 episodes ago.
Hell yeah.
So listen to that to find all about their return. We've also got Stanley's Revenge, who we played on the podcast before. Some great
stuff, and I'm glad they're getting on the bill. They deserve it. And
they basically could probably walk there, right?
Yes, they're from Pryor. Yeah, that's great.
We've also, I know there's a couple other bands I wanted to mention. The Midnight Devils.
Yes.
This will be their first time, but it's 2 of the guys from, well, actually, all 3 of the guys from 3D in Your Face without the singer.
Yes.
And Sam, the bassist, sings, I believe, for Midnight
Great,
Devils.
yeah.
So really glad to see these guys back. They've been on the podcast a couple times. They're really fun guys and really fun to talk to. And also just live, they're just one of those attitude, really fun, good time rock and roll.
Oh, hands down.
Party bands.
Definitely. That's gonna be. I'm glad to see I'll be glad to see those guys, and hopefully it won't be like hammered like the last couple times,
right?
And be a fucking nutcase.
Yeah.
But then again, it's Rocklahoma, so I might be.
So you never know.
I don't know. Apologies to those guys, to Sam and Chris already.
Well, we've got a few more to mention. First Strike, Chaotic Resemblance, Dead Metal Society.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of these bands have played Rocklahoma before. They're great. Dead Metal Society is actually a cover band, but they're one of the best cover bands you'll see.
Yeah, totally.
They actually, I think it was 2 years ago, Sam McCaslin from Retrospect told us that when they played that maybe the year before, that was the largest crowd that was ever at that stage.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
And it's just, my guess is because people hear it, they're drawn to it because they know a song, and then you keep watching because these guys are great at what they do. We've seen them several times here in Tulsa. They're a Tulsa area band, so they're a band you don't want to miss as well. And like we said, there's going to be several more announced, at least through Axis. Axis always has a really strong lineup, so looking forward to see what's going on there. I'm sure there'll be a lot of bands we've played before and had on this podcast.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. So overall, we set it up front, but you're happy. You're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'll be there. Here we go.
Because I remember when we saw that Rock on the Range, and I think there's another one of the other ones you had said to me and Jason Carroll. You're like, hey, I don't know, man. I was like, I don't want to be a downer, but I might be skipping out this year.
And Jason Carroll's like, bullshit, you're going. I'm like, right? I don't know. This might be, I might just want to head to the lake or, just hang out in the back porch with my fucking hound dog, But they came through and we're going to do it. Yeah.
So can you say right now what number 1 band is you're looking forward to? Or is that something we need to talk about later on down the line during the...
Jeez.
week before the show or something?
I'm looking forward to Andrew WK, Clutch, Ghost, Trivium. I was really hoping Baroness would be on because they're on all the other ones, and I fucking love that band.
That was another question I want to ask. I'm glad you brought that up. We see all these other lineups, and we're thinking, I hope this band's here, this band's here.
Yep.
Was there any other besides Baroness you were really hoping for? Because there's
God,
several I was hoping for. Baroness was one of them.
You know, I'd have to have the list right in front of me, but I'm sure there is, man.
Well, I can tell you number one that I was hoping for was Body Count.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They're on a couple of other ones.
That would have been badass, yeah.
They're one of the final bands on my bucket list.
Yep.
And then Greta Van Fleet was on a lot of those.
Oh, that's right. That was another one. I thought for sure they'd be on this one.
And then Power Trip was on a couple of them.
Yep.
And The Sword was on a couple of them. And then besides The Sword and Baroness, a few of them had like 3 or 4 of those kind of bands. Like Code Orange was on a couple.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Those guys are nuts.
He Is Legend was on one.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm not complaining because none of these other ones have, like I said, Power Man or Soul or Lynch Mob or Tom Kiefer or The Cult. You know, so. But, yeah, I don't know if I could say yet what my number one is. I'm looking forward to it, but all those ones I just mentioned and Cheap Trick, you know.
You're looking forward to Machine Gun Kelly, just admit it.
Yeah. Look, you know, I'm a wrestling geek, and I've seen this guy enough perform on WWE that I never have to see him again. He's fucking... I would go watch Vince Neil first. That tells you something.
But the Captain Bud Lights out there will love it.
Right. All right, well, thanks for listening. Dig through our YouTube here. We've got other stuff. We've got a show called Every Album in a Row where we discuss a band's entire catalog in its entirety.
Yeah.
We've done that with a lot of big bands like Metallica, Megadeth,
Motley Crue,
Guns N' Roses,
Pantera. Didn't we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Seemed like they're Ozzy. We did his Ozzy solo.
That's right.
And then we're working on Kiss.
Yes. And aren't all the episodes on YouTube now? Most of them?
The highlighted episodes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I didn't, it'd take forever to go back and upload everything, but there's a decent amount on there so you can find them. Definitely. But there's the YouTube specific stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned at the beginning, thethunderunderground.com is our website. There's links on there for everywhere you can hear us, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, all the rest. You can also listen to it directly on the website as well. I guess that's it.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Go back, dig through some of that stuff. We've had guys from Kiss and Megadeth and Shinedown and Great White and Seven Dust. The list goes on and on. 150 plus episodes. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.